What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Dukes of the Gridiron Podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. Something that I saw on Twitter that's been going around. UCLA coach Chip Kelly has come out and said what he thinks the future of college football will look like. And it is an ever changing landscape that we're looking at with college football right now between the transfer portal, how NIL completely just shook the infrastructure. And honestly, man, I like the fact that kids can pretty much, it turns into pretty much free agency. I like the fact that kids are free to move, just like how the coaching carousel was without any penalty. But something that Coach Kelly said about just the future of the game, where it's going financially, and this conference realignment. Because the NCAA, man, I think is tired. It's fossils. It's a bunch of fossils making all the decisions right now. And I think it's holding college football back from reaching its full potential as an elite product, man. This next deal could be game changing if any of what Kelly talks about in this clip right here comes to fruition. It makes a lot of sense, though. We know he's a big numbers guy.
Is the biggest issue that you might have right now, whether it be realignment, NIL, transfer portal, and what would your plan maybe be to try to solve it?
I think they're all a problem, and I think we need to have a conference commissioner. I think football should be separate from the other sports. Just the fact that our school is leaving to go to the Big Ten in football, our softball team should be playing Arizona in softball. Our basketball team should be playing Arizona in basketball. But because football left, and they're saying, well, how do you do that? Well, Notre Dame's independent in football, and they're in a conference and everything else. I think we should all be independent in football. And you can have a 64-team conference that's in the Power Five, and you can have a 64-team conference in the Group of Five, and we separate it, and we play each other. You can have the West Coast teams, and then every year we play 7 games against the West Coast teams, and then we play the East. So we play Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia. Then the next year you play against the South while you still play your 7 teams. You can play a 7-game schedule. You can play 4 against another conference, another division opponent, and you can always play against one Mountain West team every year so that we can still keep those rivalries going. Not that I've really thought about this. Not that I've a lot of spent of time on this. But I think if you went together collectively as a group and said there's 132 teams and we all share in the same we all share the same TV contract, so that the Mountain West doesn't have one and the Sun Belt doesn't have another and SEC has one and they have another, that we all go together, that's a lot of games, and there's a lot of people in the TV world that would go through it. You can sponsor each one. Instead of calling it Group of Five and Power Five, you can call it Amazon, Nike, bid that out to things. You do a lot of different things. But I think if we still do the same thing and take all that money, and I would do this, and I think this needs to be done, that money now needs to be shared with the student athletes, and there needs to be revenue sharing, and the players should get paid, and you can get rid of NLI, and the schools should be paying the players because the players are what the product is. And the fact that they don't get paid is really the biggest travesty. Not that I've thought about it.
I mean, that would make sense, though. Like, we're already seeing it with Thursday night football with, like, companies are like at the forefront, the branding, the exposure. Like we're already seeing it done with other areas. So we know how this could go potentially. I mean, we're seeing the Thursday night prime game, YouTube TV, NFL Sunday ticket, like yada yada. Like college football is ready to take that next step as well, where like he said, there is an individual, every conference or every team has an individual deal. Like Notre Dame has Peacock, and then we see the Texas Longhorn network. There's a couple teams like that. And then there's, the ACC network, SEC network, what have you. But if this was to come into fruition where the brands work with the schools directly, those sponsoring these games, getting it, fighting for the rights to have it on their network. Like we're seeing that now, but we're seeing it done with conferences, whole conferences. This would be a team by team basis. Everybody's pretty much independent and making deals on their own behalf of the school. That was one thing that really stood out to me because the brands are going to throw millions at this. But then on the other side, what really stood out to me was how the conference realignment is impacting these rivalries, man. It stinks. A lot of rivalries we've grown accustomed to seeing and enjoying over the past decades are coming to a halt with these recent moves coming next season, man. Like, I mean, the travel's gonna be insane. And like football, they're playing once a week. But like you said, UCLA should be playing Arizona in softball, volleyball, baseball, whatever. But we're talking about football where they're driving it. Football's the machine. It's controlling everything, right? And everybody else is just being impacted by it. But looking at it, like football plays one game a week, guys. One game. Most other sports are playing two, three at times. So it's a lot more impactful for the other teams. I don't want to call them lesser, no, like not lesser known sports, but less viewed sports, less earning sports. Like I still want to keep it respectful, but we're seeing college football drop all of college athletics right now. And it's going to be insane seeing Rutgers squaring off with a West Coast squad at Saturday at a noon game. Like, it's just, it's really interesting, man. Money is driving everything right now. We're seeing that, and it's going to continue to drive. Money's going to continue to drive college football. College football. I mean, we just saw what happened to FSU, y'all. I mean, we at the point where profit is more important than on-field production right now. I do think Kelly makes some really great points though about where the game is going, where the future's going, and it seems like it's a situation where like the non-power five schools can benefit as well, and like we're seeing, I love like how last like the rights to the men's and women's NCAA tournament are sold separately now. So the women's tournament typically was on the same stations. Now they're going to be on ESPN exclusively. So like I could see something like that where teams are breaking up and seeking out individual deals to the rights for their games. Especially like, man, you think about a team like Colorado, who's one of the most viewed teams in the nation, somebody like that. Like, bro, they're gonna get a lot of money thrown at them. So I just think that whole situation is interesting, honestly. Just looking at it, um, it's very interesting, but it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, and regardless of what he's saying, you can tell he put a lot of thought into this. But it's very forward thinking, trailblazer type stuff. So we'll see, man. But speaking of the NIL and the transfer portal, players have been hopping in that mug left and right. Some seeking more playing time, some seeking more moolah, trying to get to the money on. And it's crazy out here. But one big signing that we gotta talk about, y'all, is that man Kyle McCord, New Jersey native, coming back to the upper north, signing with Syracuse. First year head coach Fran Brown getting it done, doing what he does. He recruits. He gets elite talent to come play football at whatever staff he's on. And we're seeing it now, the impact at Syracuse immediately. And he hasn't even coached a game yet. Kyle McCord is a major pickup. I like Kyle McCord, man. Like, I know that people were expecting, I mean, when you were the Ohio State quarterback, if you ain't throwing for over 4,050 tutties, you ain't cutting it. He had the interception against Michigan. Like, it wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? Didn't beat Michigan, didn't get to the college football playoff, didn't win the Big Ten. Like, when you're following guys like CJ Stroud, who also lost to Michigan, just saying, when you're following guys like CJ Stroud, though, who still, got it done, still made that appearance in the college football playoff for those guys, Justin Fields, like, when you're following guys like that, man, expectations are going to be crazy. The last three Ohio State quarterbacks have been first round draft picks. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say McCord can't get to that level. But in his more time, first year starting though, he completed nearly 66% of his passes. He threw for 3,170 yards and threw 24 touchdowns. Only 6 interceptions for him. Back in 2018, the staff at Syracuse offered McCord, and now he's coming back around. He's one of the highest ranked transfers in the nation. He's the 10th ranked quarterback. From a pure arm talent standpoint, fundamentals, mechanics, Kyle Mccord could really flourish at Syracuse, man. And under Coach Brown, I mean, I think he's definitely going to get some more talent around him. But this is big news for Cuse. Coming off a 6-6 season, like they needed some juice added to this offense, man. They absolutely did, and of course, I think they're far from done. I think they're going to continue to pluck from the transfer portal, continue to hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? So Coach Brown is a Camden, New Jersey native, so being able to get that New Jersey talent, that New York talent, keep those guys in state. Syracuse can build, man, rather quickly. Now you have one of the most important positions on the football field, quarterback solved. You got your quarterback for the next couple years, a guy that's played at the highest level, that won 11 games, bro, threw for over 3,000 yards. Like, you're not going to find too many better quarterbacks in the transfer portal than Mccord. I like his game. I think that he has a chance to play on Sundays, but he's got to stay, he's got to develop. And I think he will at Syracuse with less pressure, man. Like, yeah, they still want to win, but it ain't national title or what. Now he gets to restart, get a little closer to home, get back closer to his roots, play in front of his family, you know what I'm saying? Getting comfortable back at the crib. He can come back less pressure and just be him and ball out. Now I know there was a lot of talk about him going to Nebraska. Then I seen the Dylan Raiola situation and how he might be flip flopping from Georgia to Nebraska. And I think now we're seeing that could have a lot more steam to it, a lot more momentum, a lot more truth about that situation of Raiola going to Nebraska with Mccord. Because it seemed like he was a done deal to go to Nebraska. He went on the visit, didn't commit, and now a couple days later, he's locked in with Syracuse. But hell of a job by this staff of Syracuse, man, for just getting it done. They made Mccord a priority, went after him, stayed vigilant, and they got their man. They got their quarterback for next year. And I think they'll add some more pieces around him, honestly. I love this fit. They're going to let him air that thing out. But also, all the pressure won't be on him. And it won't, I mean, playing at Ohio State, filling in those footsteps of the guys coming before, that's a ridiculous amount of pressure. He struggled at times, but they only lost one game. No matter what, the early season struggles he had trying to get Maserati Marv the ball, they were obvious. He was struggling against lesser competition for sure. But throughout the season, I think he got better every week, and they weren't losing. He was struggling, but they weren't losing games. I felt like even reading articles, seeing reports from Ohio State's team, his teammates, they felt like he was getting mistreated, like the judgment wasn't fair, having all the weight of the loss fall on one player. They felt like he got done dirty. Pretty much felt like he got ran out of Ohio State. And then there's stuff going on Twitter about how Mccord might have potentially asked for more NIL money, a bigger package, a bigger bag, and also assurance that he would be the starting quarterback next year. Now that's just something I saw on Twitter. I don't know how true that is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing with y'all what I saw on X. My bad. I keep saying I'm stuck, y'all. I'm stuck on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm just showing y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm just passing the message to y'all. So I don't know exactly what happened, but it feels like he kind of got run off. Now he's getting a fresh start in a program that has had success in the ACC in the past. They've sent pros. We're talking about the house of Donovan McNabb. You know what I'm saying? Dwight Freeney. It's a lot of good players that have come through. Syracuse. I think this program, this fan base, they're thirsty for some good football. Because when Syracuse is good, that fan base rallies around them. I think Mccord is gonna really elevate them, man. I think next season, depending on what they bring back, because when you're taking over a new job in college football, your first priority, college sports in general with the portal, your first priority has to be establishing those connections with your team and re-recruiting your own players. So that's going to be a big thing. But I'm interested to see what else they bring in to complement Mccord. Because I think he's going to be really good in the ACC. He'll be one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. And the ACC, I mean, no shade. No shade, ACC fans. No shade. I'm from North Carolina. I love the ACC too. No shade. But it's not really the level of competition the Big Ten has been the last couple of years. So, not saying any wins are easy, but it'll be the competition will be taking week to week. We'll be taking a little small dip compared to what he's used to. There's no Penn State. He ain't got to see Michigan ever again. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's the playoff or something like that. So good for McCord, man. Honestly, good move for him. I think it'll be beneficial. I think he'll be able to grow as a player, continue to mature, and become a really good college football quarterback. He had a good start in year one, man. Like, you know, the pressure is just different at Ohio State. Speaking of potential NFL signal caller prospects, we gotta talk about that bad man Jeremy Muta leading Florida A&M over Howard 30-26 in the comeback win. Hey, Celebration Bowl champs, the first ever for Coach Willie Simmons getting it done. And man, it was looking a little bleak at first. They got down double digits, and I was thinking Howard might run away with it, which would have been surprising for a 6-6 team. Because coming in, hey, Florida A&M had only lost one game to South Florida. They've been rolling ever since. They rolled through the conference play and rolled to a very impressive first Celebration Bowl championship for Coach Willie Simmons. But two players on this squad, man, that we got to talk about who I think are really talented that could play at the next level. We mentioned Musa, who is a big physical quarterback, huge arm, experienced guy, veteran. You know what I'm saying? Has played at the Power 5 level at Vanderbilt. Florida A&M is his third school. He had a really good year this year, though, man. 2,893 yards, 22 tutties, 9 touchdowns for the Chino Hills product. 6'3", 225 senior. You make all the throws you want. Is mobile enough. You know what I'm saying? Has proven that he's a winner. They were honestly one of the best teams in the FCS all season. They were ranked in the top 10 at points of the season. You know what I'm saying? They just kept on winning. They didn't lose to any FCS competition. You know what I'm saying? Talented group, and they live up to expectations. They started off a little with some turmoil with that whole rap incident. I think it was real Boston Richie made that video in their locker room. It started off a little crazy. But anyways, on the other side of the ball, man, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year Isaiah Major at linebacker, side to side assassin, led the team with 94 tackles this season. They were the number one defense in the FCS. And then 11 and a half tackles for loss. Speed, athleticism, ball hawk, ball skills, man. Like you can see it. Very aware, just playmaker. Love his game. It's a dude that is physical, that will lay the ball carrier out. Do not come across that middle. Covers a lot of ground. Definitely think he has a future in the NFL, man. He'll be playing on Sundays. They had the best offensive player in the conference as well as the best defensive player in the conference. So Florida A&M getting it done. Shout out to those guys. Winning on the big stage, holding it down in the A, man. Sheesh. Yeah, I think both of those guys are gonna be playing in the league, man. I think both of them will get a shot. So it was good to see, Celebration Bowl. We had to touch on it now. Come on now. We had to touch on it. So that was a good game, man. Florida A&M fought back, fought through adversity, and really showed some perseverance, tenacity. You know what I'm saying? That Howard defense, hey, they was on one to start the game. You know what I'm saying? They was making it difficult. They weren't letting Florida A&M establish any type of offensive rhythm. Musa finished 19 of 32, 289 yards, had those two early interceptions. 3 tutties though. They fought through it. Man, you gotta commend them on that. They fought through it, but sheesh, it was ugly to start. And how about I got Cam Newton in the building, man? Doing it for the people, doing it for the A. You love to see it, honestly. You love to see it. And we need more celebrities at the Celebration Bowl pulling up, man. I love it. Atlanta's finest. And then lastly, we gotta talk about a little hoops action, man. It was a big game between Kentucky and North Carolina last night. And hey, Kentucky starting them four freshmen got it done. Y'all, the addition of having Aaron Bradshaw on this squad has completely changed the perplexity of this team, man. Like they are no longer missing a defensive anchor. They have a really good rebounder in him, a rim runner, lob catcher. You know what I'm saying? A force on the inside. He made some clutch free throws. He outplayed Armando Bacot, man. I think that was one of the biggest differences in this game. I was not expecting him to outplay Bacot the way he did. Jones kind of going early at 12 points in the first half, was catching alleys, hit a three. You know what I'm saying? He's skilled, can stretch the floor. Bradshaw really, really, really changes this team and gives them a lot more upside. See why he's been considered a top five, top 10 pick. 7-1, legit 7-1 shooting the three and able to be effective around the paint, around the rim. You know what I'm saying? He's a different type of beast. And then you look at it, Rob Dillingham coming off the bench, leading the team in scoring, like in this contest, just getting buckets. Him and DJ Wagner are very tough combination to stop. And we knew that coming in. Like both these guys can get it off the dribble, they can pass it, they can shoot it, like just natural, born to be bucket getters. Both these guys off the pick and roll, they have NBA games. It's a tough matchup. It's a long night. So if you had to guard one of them, it would be a long night. But guarding two of them, forget about it. I told y'all earlier before the season started, Reed Shepard was a name to watch, and he's been a great player on both sides of the ball, spacing, playmaking, and just locking up on defense, causing all types of havoc, pressuring the ball. So I love what I'm seeing, man. Trey Mitchell has been a great addition for this squad, a great addition, veteran. Held it down while Bradshaw was out. Like this team, this Kentucky team is by now stock. They are tough. And I mean, we saw Carolina, RJ Davis gave it his all, man. Salute to him. Cormac Ryan had a 20 piece as well, man. He's been shooting that thing. Harrison Ingram, 10. And then that's it. That's where it drops off. Bacot has got to be more dominant in this contest. 6 rebounds and 9 assists is unforgivable, bro. That's unforgivable. I'm sorry. He had the same amount of rebounds as Justin Edwards, who's a guard, bro. You look at Kentucky, a more balanced attack. You know what I'm saying? Rob Dillingham, 17 points, 3 rebounds, leading the push. Reed Shepard, 11, 6, and 2, doing a little bit of everything. Same for Trey Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Justin Edwards, the utility knife. We mentioned DJ Wagner, Aaron Bradshaw. Oh man, like this team is very, very talented. And I think they're far away from playing their best basketball, but they escaped this one 87 to 83. And honestly, looking at the breakdown, both teams shot terrible from three. But if you're Carolina, you make all your free throws, you win this game. Kentucky shooting 73% at the line. They gotta improve that. But I was so surprised, dog, that they dominated the glass the way they did. Out rebounding the Hills 50 to 36. 9 offensive rebounds isn't going to cut it for Carolina. 17 turnovers. 17 turnovers. Kentucky 13. 30 turnovers in this contest, man. The turnovers have been insane this year. Both teams going to want to cut down on the turnovers. And I think, obviously, it's December. Both these squads are going to look a lot different come January, February. Like in 2 months, these teams are going to look totally different. And I get that. But this is a big win for Kentucky, man. They outplayed the Heels, a more veteran squad for sure. Carolina just turnovers killed them, man. Mistakes late in I know people are gonna hold that late turnover against Kadu. Um it's just, hey, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. It was a lot to deal with Kentucky, man. They got a lot of different scoring options, and they can attack you in a lot of different ways. And now they got Aaron Bradshaw back. I'm saying, man, they looking different. This team is looking a lot different. Like he is a major impact immediately. Like he's getting better. It's crazy how much better he's getting every game. Like you know what I'm saying? He had a slow start, but now. Oh man, he's looking like one of the best bigs in the country, bro. I mean, you ain't seeing too many. I'd take him over Zach Edey. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would take Bradshaw over Zach Edey. 7-1, can shoot the rock like that, spread it, lock down on deep. I'd love to see him grab some more rebounds, though. I would love to see him grab some more rebounds, but he held his own against Bacot. I mean, shut him down. Shut him down. I'm just saying, man. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, man. Holla at your boy. Let me know what y'all think, how y'all feel about all these situations, man. There's a lot going on in the sports world. I love this time of year. Y'all holla at your boy. Let me know how y'all feel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, until next time, we out.